You are going to talk to us today about suspended driver's licenses. It's a topic that's kind of close to us, I would say.
Yeah, this came up the other day, and we were talking about the ways that your driver's license can get suspended, or in the case certain circumstances, your driver's license can be automatically suspended. And really, the only time that a driver's license is automatically suspended, or if you refuse to take a breathalyzer or refuse to take a breath test after you've been tagged for being under suspicion of driving under the influence, or if you actually test positive at 0.08 or higher if you're an adult, or 0.02 blood alcohol or higher if you're a minor. So those are the instances where your driver's license is automatically suspended for a certain period of time. Other than that, you have to go kind of through the process. If you get a ticket that puts you over points, your driver's license is not automatically suspended until you go to court or you plead guilty to pay that ticket, and then they will issue a time period that your driver's license is suspended. There's other things that come into play as well, but those are typically the things that you look at when you're looking at suspended license.
I think a lot of people may be embarrassed about it, but honestly, it happened to me one time in Tennessee. I paid a ticket online, but apparently there was an administrative fee that was supposed to be added that I didn't realize. It was when I got pulled over for something else later, like a checkpoint. A checkpoint, and they realized it. So, but it's costly to get it back a lot of times.
Well, and they're supposed to notify you if your driver's license is suspended for any reason, and then reinstatement can, come with its cost, and that's, they have fees for those types of things. Your driver's license can be used as leverage against you in other situations. Child support, they can suspend your license for unpaid child support in some situations. If you don't appear in court, your driver's license may not be suspended, but if you're out driving around even on a valid license, they can arrest you for failure to appear. So, it's one of those things you got to kind of keep an eye on.
Exactly.
Stay on top of it.
Of course. Well, we do have a caller right now. Cheryl, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
My friend of mine, they were living together for 8 years. One of them passed away, and the other one's still in the home. And we were wondering what the rights are of the person that's still there, and the heirs want to throw him out, and he has his own belongings there, and we don't know if he has any rights to anything at all. Can you explain that? Well,
in Alabama, if you're, if you don't have an ownership in the property, and I assume that he was just living there, they had whatever relationship they had was the reason he was there. He is deemed to be a tenant of the property. So if he's not an owner, doesn't have any heirship, or he's not going to inherit the property in any way, then the heirs have a right to evict him from the premises. But they have to treat him like a tenant, and they have to go by the Landlord-Tenant Act. So they have to give him a notice of eviction, and if he doesn't move his belongings out of the home, then they give him an extension, and then there's a kind of a drop-dead date. So it's just, he's going to have to leave the premises if he's not the owner, and they'll have to evict him, use the normal eviction process.
In situations like that, are there ever things that the person who does own the home, who is now deceased, could have done to give that person the right to stay in the home, even if they were not an owner?
Well, certainly. They could. You can deed property. If they held the property with right of survivorship, which is jointly with right of survivorship, then the person's interest when they pass away automatically goes to the other person. And this is something that we use all the time to keep property out of probate if somebody should pass away. Usually it's between a husband and a wife, but it could be just joint owners or co-owners to a property that they want the property to flow to somebody else automatically when they pass away.
Very good information.
For sure.
Sure.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And if you didn't get your legal question answered today, you can always call our friends over at Timberlake, League and Brooks. They are happy to answer your questions. You can also catch us here every Monday and talk to an attorney here on air as well. We'll be right back.